Alright folks, from Tucson, we're here at the incredible Bedroxx for the title matches of today's JBT tournament. One of these two young ladies is going to capture their first career JBT title here. Is it Shannon Barton going to play Kristen Lee in the title match. And it looks like both girls are going to open in the first, unless she almost makes the 6-7 to open it up here. So open frames traded for Kristen and Shannon here, and Kristen is the one who's got the pins to make up. She's got to beat Shannon by 29 to tie and 30 to win. Meanwhile, in the scratch division, he's back. Labriel Leach looking to win title number 11 here, going up against Anthony Tripi, who has been red hot this spring on tour. So an interesting title match here in scratch. And Labriel starts out with 10 in the pit. Beautiful shot there. Tripi has been one of those bowlers that was so close to winning. He finally broke through with the title at Peoria this year, and now he's been red hot, making final after final, looking to win his second career title here. And tickles him up on lane 8. So we're all tied up on the scoreboard in both divisions. Shannon's pin's the difference right now. It was back and forth between Shannon and Kristen all day long in the handicap division, so it's appropriate that they're rolling out for the title. The usual high scores were the order of the day here at Bedroxx today. Shannon edged her out, qualifying first at plus 303 for 8, while Kristen was second at plus 271. You see that nice follow through from Barton? And breaks up the split and leaves only a 10. One of the more severe backup bowlers we've ever had on tour. There's 10 in the pit for her. Righty bowler with lefty spin, nothing wrong with that, as long as you do it the same way every time, and very effective when she's in the pocket there. I would have to give her the edge here just because she's on the left side of the lanes, not a broken down house shot. More about that later. She's going to have a cleaner line over there. And Barton misses on that 10 pin, so 10 pins picked up by Kristen in that frame. Here's Tripi's strike working. And around the 4th arrow there, trying to just fade it down there in that oil. He does exactly that and opens up with a flush double. See if Labriel can match him. Labriel told me that he's nervous right now before this match. Kind of odd for a 10-time winner. Oh, and he trips out the 4-pin there. Although Labriel has won 10 career JBT titles, this is the first time that he's ever been the top seed in our stepladder format. So it is something a little different for him. Rare that someone who's in our top 10 career events bowled list would be doing something different for him, but that's the case. Barton looking for her first mark of this final match, and there it is. On a house condition, all the oil that's left is pretty far inside, so the ladies and the guys have migrated in, riding that oil line as long as they can. Kristen is able to play further left on her side because there's been less lane play on the left side of the lane, so she's not as deep as Shannon and has a little bit more rotation and flushes that double. So great start for Lee. See if Labriel can at least temporarily grab the lead here with 3 in a row. That's good. Yeah, you betcha. 3 in a row for the determined Labriel Leach. Labriel and Anthony both a similar amount of rotation, so they're playing pretty much on top of each other on the lanes, looking to play between the 3rd and 4th arrow. Let the oil do most of the work of getting the ball down the lane. That's a little left, and it stays left. Leave the 6-10. Labriel qualified first today at plus 277, so pretty high scores today. Bowlers did most of their scores early when the lanes still had a little bit more oil on them. We use a house pattern here just about every time we're here at Bedroxx. It's really all they have. It seemed like it was a little bit drier than usual this year for whatever reason. It's already a relatively dry shot, so very scoreable dry house shot early. And then when the oil started to go away, the players had to migrate extremely left. The high rev rate players were really at a disadvantage by the end of the day because the ball was just hooking really, really early. So not surprising that you see Anthony and Labriel, who are more medium rev rate players, able to handle the lanes a little better today. It's all part of being versatile. If you're, those high revs are great and those puddle oil shots, but we see plenty of dry shots too, and you got to be able to adjust to them. Oh, get that 8-pin over. Looked like the 8 wasn't going to fall for Shannon there, but it does, and she gets a smile out of her. That's a big double for her. Kristen wants it to go right. It goes right, but not quite enough. Leaves a 2-pin. Both Kristen and Sabrina took over this tournament in Game 5 when Shannon shot 267 scratch and Kristen shot 278 scratch. Both in Game 5 to jump into that first and second positions that they've been trading back and forth since then. Labriel for 4 in a row. And he goes high and leaves the 3-6. So both players now off the initial strings. Kristen a good spare shooter, no problem at all. That 2-pin, that fluid backup ball of her. Labriel, according to only Labriel, was in a bit of a slump in the winter time. I don't really think it was that bad of a slump at all. He has worked hard on his game and is obviously completely busted out of anything even approaching a slump, as he shot 300 a couple weeks ago in Texas, had a 299 about a month ago at Shea, and top 5 after top 5 since then. So a slump be gone for Labriel. And Anthony, a perfect shot back on it there. Weird scoring system in bowling. Even though Labriel had the longer string, if they both strike out, it's a tie at 278. So we're a long way from that, of course, but we'll see how that plays out. Shannon bowling only her second career JBT event today. She entered at a 144 average and obviously killed that. Product of the Tucson High School bowling program. That's always good to see. Obviously developed her game quite a bit throughout that high school program, and that's what we want to see him doing. So, hey, make it 3 in a row for Barton, recovering beautifully from those early open frames. She's happy about it. Kristen is unhappy about it, but let's see what happens. Oh! The old good break, bad break there. It was a Brooklyn strike that really should have carried, but didn't. Leaves herself a Brooklyn solid 7. Labriel has been bowling with us a long time, since the 1990s, literally. He's older than me. I don't understand how he's still bowling. I'm sitting here talking. Beautiful shot. Kristen switches to a ball that doesn't hook at the 7-pin and has it. The basketball appropriate, as she's a real talented basketball player, an injured basketball player too. More about that next time. So. The unique style of Anthony Tripi, we talk about this every time he's on the show. It's like a chicken wing without a chicken wing. Watch his entire body duck left, which allows a pretty interesting arm swing. The arm string stays in line, it's the body that moves. And it doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you do it the same way over and over. When he's on, he can be deadly, because that straighter ball keeps him out of trouble. And we had the big crankers today covering 50 boards. You got to learn what each of those boards is doing. Anthony and Labriel increases their margin for error by decreasing that variable. Barton straight at the 4-pin, has it, and trails by 10 pins through 5 frames as a result of that. Kristen had a bad shoulder injury for the last couple of months, and this is her first tournament back from it. Seems like that happens a lot, where bowlers get their first event back from an injury or a layoff or whatever reason, and they suddenly find themselves having a great day. She does say it's hurting right now. This is a long day. 5 games plus 3 games plus 1 more in the stepladder, so this is Game 10 that counts for her, and Sabrina, since Shannon in Game 9, has now strung together 4 in a row. It's putting the hurting on Kristen right now. Covers up the spare though. So trailing in the match now and giving those 29 pins. Barton in good shape. Half the game to go. You know how that works around these parts. Just a pinch soft and a pinch right for Leach there. He's the old fast 8, the 4-7. He'll maintain that 10-pin lead should he spare it up right now. Alright, gotta watch those spares today. They want to hook right off the lane. He covers it up. If you want to see who wins, watch part 2.